Well, hello, fellow traveler. I'm here to dive into the Cardinal Energy Alchemy with all of you. We're going to open up first with a collective read, and then we'll go into individual messages for Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, the cardinal signs. And the cardinal energy is initiative energy. They are the initiators of the zodiac. They get things kicked off with each of the seasons. Aries initiates spring, Cancer initiates summer, Libra initiates fall, and Capricorn initiates winter. And so they really get the new season in motion. So this is how to get this season of your life off on the right foot, just to get some good momentum going. And when we got Venus in Aries, it's all about how can you weave more of that love and beauty into your reality? How can you connect with your heart fire? What really inspires you, makes you feel like you're in the zone, in your element, going with the flow that really feeds back into you. And there is some tempering that is required as we move into this energy as well, because we know Mars can get things pretty hot and heated. With Saturn hanging out in Aries, there's also a need to understand the foundation of things, the proper uses of time, and also learning to temper the way we act impulsively sometimes when we got that Aries initiative energy really chomping at our heels here. And this is what needs to be brought forward, because when you got Venus hanging out in Aries, what will sabotage more than anything is trying to strategize too much, trying to have things too planned out, trying to kind of get ahead of the curve by moving more into intellectualizing everything to death, thinking everything to death. That's what will squelch the potential of Venus hanging out here. It's also the very thing that can get us mired in inertia when we should be just starting to get things going, you know? It does require us to really recognize where time is up, where we've been hanging out too long in a place that we don't feel fulfilled, where we do need to hatch a new vision, something that will actually endure, something that feels like it's harmonized with who we truly are, and something that is built to last. There is the desire to root something new into our reality. But how do you know when it's the proper time to do that, when you've kind of been stuck in a certain spot for so long that it's become a bit of a comfort zone? That's where we can get a little bit impulsive, you know, the desire just to experience change for change's sake, or something can feel initially like it has potential. And so we just dive into it even though we may be uncertain, okay? Now, I'm not talking about having nervousness or fear come up when you're considering heading down a new path, because I think that's a natural human reaction. Anytime you're heading into unknown territory, you can feel a little nervous. You might bump up against some fears. But at the same time, if you really feel like you're just desperate for some change, any change, that's when you can get yourself in a tight spot. When you know that if I do this, it's really going to screw things up, but I just kind of want to do it because why not? That's more the imbalanced use of the Aries initiative coming forward there. Card wants to come out there. Let's see what this is. Yeah, that's when we can get caught slipping here. We want to give the finger to what we should do, you know, what's the responsible thing to do, what other people need us to do, or, you know, this is when we're kind of wanting to give a finger to all the shoulds, and in doing so, it's like going a little bit over the edge on the other side where it becomes something that's destructive. And this is what's needing tempering at this time, to know the difference between when the energy is a yes and when the energy is coming from a place of acting out. You know, there's a difference. There's a way to go your own way. There's a way for you to take the initiative in your life and to do what feels right to you without trampling all over other people or without leaving a trail of destruction behind you. There's also a way to deal with situations where there is opposition that doesn't involve you going tit for tat or getting embroiled in some kind of situation because maybe the desire is to have your lick back. That's something that is kind of what I'm talking about here, when there's a desire to do something more just for the display of the power of initiative that one holds. That's not something that really does bring a sense of victory or success. In the end, we get caught slipping. We recognize that that caused us to lose a little bit of our essential life force there, spilling it out on something that really we should just be able to be at rest with, be at peace with, let it go, let it flow, all right? This is where there's a kind of combative situations and relationships, connections, where we may feel like we want to take a certain action to teach somebody a lesson or to somehow flex, you know, our position of being in the right, and thereby actually spilling out the potential potency of the moment that we have to work with here. We have to remember something about Venus. People usually focus on the love and the beauty and those kind of exalted aspects of the Venusian energy, but Venus is also connected to war, and in Aries, with Mars being the ruling planet there, I mean, you know, there's a lot of that in tandem here too. So this is really recognizing that to truly put ourselves in alignment with the right choices at this time, it really involves us tempering our reactiveness, that desire to kind of throw ourselves into the fray of something because we do feel like that initial charge of being touched in a really deep place that maybe feels into an old wound or something that hasn't been resolved. We got to remember that energy of Aries and Chiron has been hanging out there, the deepest wound of the self. So there can be some stuff that comes up here, especially in a retrograde cycle, and retrograde in Pisces, which is the 12th house, the blind spot, the subconscious, the things that can trip us up, the things that we do need to have illuminated for us in order to close the gap on some repeat karmic cycles and get ourselves free of the things that do hold us back. There's a sense here of being really close to being to the other side of something, and yet still feeling the burn of an unfulfilled rebuttal. That's how it's coming through. An unfulfilled rebuttal that puts one more in the other's energy than in your own pure essence. So there's something coming through here about an opportunity to act from a place of wisdom, to let go of some resentment, to let go of some bad blood, to choose instead peace when there's a lot of fire coming forward. But we have to remember Neptune is in Aries right now too, and so is Saturn. So you got water and earth hanging out with fire. And actually we do have the ability to really have some temperance coming in here, some balancing coming in here. And this may involve us looking at ways that we can trip ourselves up when we get a little too impulsive, when we act from that place that's more inspired by the machinations of our mind than it is from responding to a place of direct energetic alignment. And how do you know what direct energetic alignment is? Direct energetic alignment is when you feel just that inner state of equanimity. You feel a sense of assuredness, connection, clarity, contentment. Nothing feels off. Everything feels very synergistic. Everything feels aligned, harmonious, whole, complete, and on purpose. And there's lightning starting to light up the sky out there right now. So see, there's something that's going to really light this up, something that's going to get the brain turned on again, get the consciousness turned on again, get you thinking about what you're loyal to here and what you need to maybe release allegiance to. This could be ways that you've kind of held yourself back from really acting on what turns you on, what is interesting you. And if there's something that you've been spending a little bit too much time and energy on that takes away from you feeling like you are in this place of being inspired, or that you are in a place where you do feel stimulated, where you do have fresh inspiration coming in and motivation, something that's activating you, lots of lightning outside. This moment is coming. And it's important when you got Venus in Aries that you take the initiative, in relation to what really gets your heart thumping, what really does make you feel like, I want to nurture this. This is something I want to do. And the way you know when it's the right time to act is when you feel that place of energetic alignment. You may feel a sense of nervousness around it. You may feel a sense of fear around it, but it feels so aligned and you just know, this is what I need to do, that it's natural. It's a natural flow. So when you're in this space during this cycle where you want your life to change, right? Be aware of sort of false flags for when it's time to take an action. Those false flags can be when you just feel super activated. Anything would be better than what I got going on right now. So let me just stir something up, anything up. And sometimes Aries can do that, you know. It can be the nature of that energy. They are what gets the ball rolling for the whole zodiac. And so sometimes they can be chomping at the bit. They take an impulsive action because they get tired. They get tired of feeling hemmed in, held back. And that can really come to the surface, especially in a retrograde cycle. But when you're looking at the energy of Saturn hanging out there too, and then the watery Neptunian influence coming in that can kind of dampen some of that fire, it can make Aries feel a little out of their element. So this is about really waiting for that moment when you're like, I don't feel stressed about this. I don't feel like this is something that I need to think about. I just know this is it. This is what I need to do. This is the right action for me to take. This is what I'm being called to at this time. I have no doubt about it. Doubt leaves the building. There can be nervousness. There can be fear that comes up because you don't know what's going to come your way when you step into the unknown and you start putting a dream into motion here. But the calling will be too great to ignore. 14:44 on the clock, you see. That's what's divine timing. It's not something that is so esoteric and out there. Divine timing is when you are in the zone. You are in the flow. There is complete alignment. You have no doubt. We've all experienced something like this in our lives where we just all of a sudden woke up one day and we're like, this is what I got to do. This is it. And when it comes in, it comes in. There's no doubt. So if you're in a place where you're like wiffle waffling about something and you feel stressed because you feel like something needs to change, and so you're almost getting to that place of desperation where you're like, well, anything will be better than, you know, what's going on right now. So let me just throw caution to the wind. There comes the thunder. That's when a tower can be brewing, and it can be a little disastrous. I mean, it is one way to open your road. It is one way to break up the inertia, certainly, but it can also leave a lot of collateral damage. And that's when you kind of want to hold up a minute, because you'll know. You'll know when it's time to act. You will know. There will be no doubt about it. If there's indecision, you're not in the place to act yet. Let it come into view. Let it come into focus. And I would say if you're feeling like that, the best way to get back into your own energy is create some time, space to do what you enjoy doing, to do what really does put you in your element. Do what makes you feel like you're most tapped into your own soul's essence. And usually that is indulging in things that you enjoy. You enjoy things that feed your soul, things that make you feel like you want to be doing this instead of the other stuff you've been grappling with that's been frustrating the hell out of you. How can you redress the balance so you make more time for those things that do put you in that state of inner contentment? You know, this could be you really enjoy hiking. You know, you like to get out in the elements. You like the challenge of making the climb. You like the view, the perspective you get when you're at the top of the mountain. You know, it helps relieve a lot of stress. It helps you clear your head. It helps you feel aligned. But maybe you haven't been hiking in forever because you have bogged yourself down in too many responsibilities, too many things that you feel like you have to do, too many obligations to other people, and then it's crowded you out of your own essence, the very things that fill your cup, make you feel most like yourself and bring you into alignment. And then you wonder why things feel stagnant, why you're experiencing blockages, why you don't know what the right action to take is, or even what you should do next. You may feel like you're kind of in a holding pattern. Usually if you redress the balance and you bring some of those things in that really do feed your soul and make you feel most like you, that's when it starts to fall into place, you know. Action is something that is required when you have Venus in Aries. So, you know, start by taking action to connect with yourself again and the things that light you up, the things that light your heart fire, the things that if you had more time to do them, you would be doing them. So make the time, make it a priority. Let go of some of the stuff you've been making too much time for that you don't really feel like being loyal to. That's how you can redress this balance. You may feel like that thing for you is an art. It's a craft. It's a hobby that you have that, you know, it's just something maybe you consider a pastime, but you don't recognize how much it puts you in the zone. It puts you in the flow. Whatever this is something that when you do this, you can get lost in it. You get lost in it in the best way. You forget your troubles, you forget your concerns, you forget your stresses, and you're just in that energetic flow. And ironically, when you're in that energetic flow, doing whatever this is, it is the very thing that puts you in your essence. And when you're in this essence, then you're in harmonic synergy with the very types of experiences, opportunities, desires that you want to come into your field of view. All right? Yeah, there's something here that it's like you've been too allegiant to it. It's something that you feel like, well, this is what I should do, or this is the right thing to do, or this is what I'm expected to do. and you've been very loyal to it, but for your own annihilation. It's like it's crowding out something that is essentially you. And that just won't do at this point. You need to really get back into your purest essence here, because this is the initiation of Venus. This is the rebirth of Venus energy, and we're moving into it right now. So how you show up in this energy is really going to be a determining factor in how things roll out. But if you're having any sense of lack of clarity in terms of where your true heart's direction lies, there's something that's going to come in here that's going to divert your attention from sort of side quest distractions and have you very fixated on a certain point of interest, something that captures your attention, and it'll be like the sounding of judgment. It'll be a calling, something that you're like, oh, I want to make more time for this. This is what really feels like, this is what I need to be doing. This is speaking to me. This is lighting me up. This is interesting me. And as you harmonize more with that energy, you'll start to see things come into view in a much different way than they have been up to this point. You'll recognize that you really did turn the page and the story is shifting now. You are taking on a new role. It's also a big time for reinvention. You're entering your character arc here. You're going through further development as you're telling your tale, spinning it as you choose to. I mean, you are the author of your story here. Some of you may be writing a book. You may be writers. That may be something you need to make more time for. You've been kind of putting it aside, all right? And you need to make more time for that. Maybe there's something about the story of your life too that has some source of inspiration. Maybe you need to look at those slip-ups, you know, the times when things did go awry or you went left when you could have gone right, you know, that provides some source of creative inspiration too, whether that's, you know, writing a book or maybe writing a song. Okay, this energy kind of coming through. So really, you got to pour into yourself first when you got that Venus and Aries energy. This is about really allowing yourself to think about what you want, you know, think about what would satisfy you, what would gratify you, you know, what excites you, what do you want more of, what do you need to make more time to do, because you've started to slide out of you because you're trying to make others happy. And then, you know, then the other side of Venus can come in once you're in a place where you're really harmonized in your own essence and you're feeling very complete in and of yourself and like you got all you need. That's usually when another shows up to share the path with you, right? When you're not focused on that, when you're in this place of energetic alignment. Yeah. See? There's that Aries energy. It's like me time. It's very important for you right now to love up on yourself, you know, and to really ward this too, to have this time to indulge in the things that make you happy, that fill you up, instead of giving so much time and energy to things you don't want to do, but you feel like you have to because it's the right thing to do, or this is what I'm expected to do. All right? This is about you. It's about you during this cycle. It really is. Focus on you. That's where all the transformation is going to come into view. And where you do need to gather some truths about what is the right path for you, that's where you're going to find it. Not when you're hanging out with others, not when you're asking other people, what do you think I should do? This is about really trusting yourself, your own take on a situation, your own perceptions, what you desire, your own intuition, what feels right to you. This is where, you know, it really comes through. This is how you find that place where you belong, the place that you're willing to really take a stand in. This place that is your North Node. It is the activation of everything that is in complete alignment with you. And every single truth aligns with this position. And so you're really ready to stand on business for this. Because we do got a little bit of that tempering quality. That tempering quality of Saturn hanging out in Aries too. Right? So we definitely have the axis of Aries, Libra strongly coming into play here at this time, which means we're looking at the polarities between what the individual wants and what our relationships require of us. And these relationships don't just involve romantic relationships, but they can also be business partnerships, any significant partnering energy where you got two or more people working together toward a common goal. There's always going to be a little bit of this push-pull and balancing things out. This even comes in situations where there may be outright opposition, because when you're looking at Libra, you got the 7th house there that also includes open enemies, things that run counter balance to what you desire, your wishes, your fulfillment, things that are oppositional to that. Okay, so this is also understanding that where you are encountering pushback, the solution is still the same. Okay, the solution to find the way to love and beauty, it's not through the other, it's through coming into harmony within the self, really aligning with your true soul's essence. Because until you get back into your essence, how are you going to recognize what harmonizes with that? You know what I mean? If your energy is kind of fractured and you got too many other people's ideas and suggestions and input and influence, you know, plugged into your energy, then you're going to feel very scattered. You're going to feel very divided. This is really about knowing yourself enough to be true to yourself, to be honest with yourself, and to recognize when you don't want to put more energy into something and you want to put it elsewhere, because that's what really feeds you. And it starts out quite simply with things that you may not see as being so consequential, but down the road you'll recognize, like, wow, when I made more time to go out fishing, it really allowed me to recalibrate. Going out on the water and having that quiet time to myself, it allowed me to really get more in touch with what I'm really truly feeling. I was able to process some stuff, let some stuff go. It allowed me to decompress, and now I feel more clear. And see, this is the way something that seems like it's not really connected ends up being very foundational for what's about to roll out here. Because while there's challenges that we're moving through in this cycle, there's also a lot of positive momentum brewing here to be able to generate the stuff of our dreams from a new perspective, a new place of understanding. And that understanding is going to start to come in, because as of tomorrow, we got that Mercury Cazimi showing up. So this is when we have our breakthrough moment. This is when we have our breakthrough moment. Yeah, we got Aunt Brenda hanging out there, okay, taking a hold of the details of the little things, the things that, kind of glossed over initially, but now realizing, no, time's up on this. This is taking up too much of my time, my energy, attention. I've given this too much control in my life. It's feeding off of me, and I want to transform that. I'm going to bag up all this meaningless garbage. This doesn't nurture me, I'm going to clear this out so I can make more room for what does fill me up. Okay? This is when the energy starts to shift here. This is when there is the moment of transformation on offer. Okay, so let's just kind of get an overarching theme for how this transformation is going to come through and get some more details for each of you. Now, for those of you who do not have any strong cardinal placements, I would say check out what you got going on in the 1st house, 4th house. I almost said forced house. Interesting. Okay. So the 4th house, people may be having a lot of issues coming up right now that deal with Cancerian matters. Like, where do I belong? Foundational matters, concerns around home, family, very foundational things coming up, the roots of things coming up, getting pulled up to look at and examine. That's just interesting how that came in. There might be some kind of like struggles coming in for the collective in relation to that. Okay, but the 4th house, we also have the 7th house and the 10th house. Okay, check out what you got going on there. Also, naturally, check out where you have any Libra placements, Cancer placements, Capricorn placements, Aries placements. Check out what's going on with your Mars. What is going on with your Moon? What is going on with your Venus? And what is going on with your Saturn placement? Okay? Can reveal a lot to you. Okay. To help you just feel out how things are aligning for you. Okay, what we got coming in here? Well, we got the digging ghost, okay? So there is something coming in here about feeling like I need to dig something up in order to make it right. This may have something to do with coming from a new place of understanding in relation to an action that was taken in the past, perhaps impulsively, perhaps out of a place of self-protection too, like really feeling the need to defend oneself. And understanding, now being crowned with a new sense of, emotional perspective. That there's a need to get back down to the root of something, maybe dig something up because one feels haunted by it, okay? Something's kind of hounding somebody. They can't just lay it to rest yet. Maybe they wanted to. Maybe they thought they could. I could see this in some cases as being the desire to bypass something. There's been some kind of boundaries that's been put in place in a situation because of the history of a situation and the destructiveness of it. Something that's quite shadowy here with the moth medicine coming into view, but there is transformation that's possible with Venus in Aries. This is when the shadow can go through the transformation of the light. And here we have the character that came out in the read that I did last night. So see, somebody is taking the initiative to free themselves here. Free themselves and set their sights on what will give them happiness. They're acting on some kind of truth, but I do feel like there's something they've seen that they didn't see before. They have a new perspective. Whoever this is, they were in a hanged man position before, but now they understand, okay, I need to take an action. This is what's going to awaken in the collective consciousness where you have been hanging up for a while. You start to see that if you want to see a shift in your reality, there's only one way it's going to happen. It's not going to be through the intervention of another. This is when we have to act in our own self-interest. We have to take an action that's rooted in our own sense of personal awareness about what is correct for us. This is coming in after having a certain perspective illuminated for us. And this is what the Mercury Cazimi will bring in. It'll bring in new understanding, new clarity, awareness around something that was previously very cloudy, very difficult to decipher. And this is where we can kind of have the benefit of that Neptune energy in Aries. Normally, Neptune hangs out in the 12th house of Pisces. But in Aries, it has quite a different sort of influence. It does make it possible to initiate our dreams and emotion. This is not waiting for the dream to arrive on the scene. This is actually taking the initiative to go after your dreams, not waiting for somebody to bring what you desire to you, but going out in search of it. And it does require some kind of energetic alignment. But this to me feels like the recovery of a dream. Like there may be quite a few in the collective that feel like something was lost because of some kind of perception that created separation from something that is now desired. Something perhaps was cut off before it had a chance of becoming what it was meant to be. So it can feel a bit like running down a dream is kind of how I'm seeing this energy come through. And yet I know that this breakthrough moment is about to arrive. It's sort of highlighting something for the collective here. It's bringing about some kind of decisiveness. And for some of you, it's going to inspire you turning something around. You don't want to live in regret. Maybe you thought that you could kind of bury a desire, and you can't. And so you recognize that you have to unearth that part of you, even though it may make you feel a little foolish because of certain actions you took in the past. Or, yeah, we got the Queen of Holes here coming in, okay? So there's something that's now seen that maybe was not previously seen. There's been some kind of sacrifice. There's been some kind of loss. I also think there's been depletion when you have kind of poured yourself out, you know, given all of your time and energy to things that you're not really harmonized with, but maybe it was just less complicated, or, you know, something like that. There's a recognition that until you start feeding what actually does make you feel that sense of resonance, like, yes, this is right. I don't mind giving my energy to this. That's a big clue right there. Whatever this is, it's like it gives you that feeling of being at home in yourself. It's just totally locked in on the radar, like, yep, clear signal. This feels right. This feels right. But there's been like this loyalty, this allegiance, this dutifulness to a certain maybe traditional standard or expectation that, it may give the correct, outer appearance according to what other people want to see, or what you think other people expect of you. It's hollow. It leaves you drained. It doesn't leave you feeling fulfilled. But see, there's been some sacrifice here. And with what was sacrificed, which is that thing that does make you feel like you're living your life on purpose, there comes a new vision. There was only something you could see in the loss, right? This is when you're looking back during this retrograde cycle at what went awry and what was sacrificed, where you do have regret, or where you wish you could have a do-over. You wish you could have made a different choice or handled something differently, where that perspective alone is giving you a little bit of a clue that puts some power in your hands to open up a door of opportunity, to make a way through, where previously you feel like something was barred off, closed to you, something you've long desired. It does require making a decision. It doesn't need to be complicated. It's not something you need to think about anymore. It's as simple as cutting it off. Cutting off whatever is creating this feeling of being tied up in knots. You don't need to dissect something anymore. You don't need to unravel it. You don't need to live in regret, and you don't need to dig up the past either. You don't need to keep digging up the same stuff over and over again. It's not meant to take you back there, but it's meant to show you something fundamental that you can act on right now to get yourself back into energetic alignment. And I'm telling you, it doesn't make you feel confused. It doesn't make you feel divided. And the best way to get in touch with it is to start to get more back to those things that you're like, this is me. This is who I am. This is what makes me feel like I'm most in my element, whatever that is. And it's okay if it starts out with something simple, something that you feel is not correlated to the bigger picture of your life. Getting in your own energy, getting back to who you are is fundamental. It's foundational for getting back to living life on your terms, for finding the love and the beauty and the harmony in your life, and for overcoming those oppositional forces, those things that you feel are working against you, or those really combative relationships. It's the way through to get back into your own essence and harmonize all of it without impulsivity, without creating any kind of destructiveness, just being in your flow, you know? And when you're in your flow, it's easier to let those things go. It's easier to not be distracted by things that really don't need to take up your time and energy, things that don't need your concern, okay? So it's an individuation energy that moves us into harmonization and unity within the self, but then with others as well. And it's actually a really beautiful way to work with what feels initially dichotomous, right? It feels very oppositional, but the opposition serves a purpose. The opposition, if you look at it, if you look at the opposition, you're looking at these polarities, these extremes. It's only through the extremes that we learn the middle way. It's only through extremes that you learn the balancing point. And that's what's really key here. Because once you are able to find that balancing point, that's when you have that sun-moon synergy. You know, Mars energy, Aries energy, very masculine. Libra energy, Venusian energy, very feminine. You got that, you know, sort of harmonization point. Sun, masculine. Moon, feminine. It's the balancing point. It's the balancing point between the two is the way through. You need to have the masculine as the avenue, the mode of bringing something into material reality. The road has to be open for anything to come to fruition in your life. And in order for there to be the inspiration, the creative energy, the flow, well, the feminine needs to be on board. And that's how you're going to find the way through. When you're in that place where your actions and your impulse to move into motion is coming from this state of feeling very intuitively, emotionally, creatively in your element and in your flow, then it's time to go. Not when you're up in your head, confused, should I do this, should I do that? Better to do nothing than to cut yourself down from the hangman position precipitously before it's time. There's benefit in just kind of hanging out. There's benefit in just kind of hanging out on your own, searching for your own truths, understanding what needs to be cut away and what needs to be held on to because it can cut a way through. Okay, so this is sort of finding these, it's coming through as convergence points. Convergence points. There are sacrifices being made here to open up a new door of opportunity. But anything that's being sacrificed is not passing a fire test of truth. It's in some way not harmonized with who you are at your core. And so it should be seen as a liberation. And it doesn't need to be something that's struggled with. It can be released very peacefully, actually. There's no need for any kind of rebuttal or digging up old stuff or brewing with resentment. And if you are in a place of having regrets and you're haunted by that, this is the time to, well, act on it, you know, act on it. Because obviously if you're willing to dig something up again because you feel such a deep sense of regret, then there's something that your soul feels like it left behind. And so maybe it is time to dust off that dream. But act on what feels in harmony with your truth and what has you in that space of not questioning, not feeling like, well, is it this or that, or should I do this or that, or, you know, having to ask everybody for their validation that what you're planning to do is the right thing. You're not there yet. It's a real simple way to just stay balanced in terms of how you're using your fire this cycle. Let me do one more round here. Boop. Yep. And if you wait for that moment to arrive, and if you allow your old identity to go through this transformation, the way you were previously seeing things, then you'll finally understand what you're aiming for. And what you're aiming for is, you know, it's got a little bit more flow to it. It's not so fixed. And it knows how to bend with the winds of change and have a good time doing it too. You know, this is entering a more kind of light, carefree time of your life. And it's like, whatever's coming to an end here, okay, it allows you to come into a more ecstatic, sort of free-flowing, uninhibited, true expression of yourself. And that's a good thing. It's like, this is when the good times roll, okay? And this is when you become master of the hunt. You recognize that it's up to you. You can aim for anything you want here. It's up to you where you put your focus, where you direct your actions, where you give your time, your energy. And so I think this is something that's absolutely being restructured here, and recognizing perhaps as well where too much time has been given to old grudges or nursing old wounds or reflecting on things that left us feeling like we had to really like protect ourselves. This is like a time when it's really about letting all that go and opening up to a brand new cycle and saying, okay, that was rough, or, you know, I wish this would have turned out like that, but, you know, I now understand why things went the way they did. And now that I got that truth, it's recalibrated me. It's given me a new perspective about what I really desire for myself, for my life, what I want to grow here. And I'm ready to open up a new cycle. And I'm ready to just kind of have more flow. You know, I don't want to continue to dig up old stuff. There's already a fundamental understanding that's come through here. And if you don't have it yet, the Mercury Cazimi will make it very clear for you. It will give you that breakthrough moment where you're going to just feel like you're releasing yourself from a lot of heaviness. And to me, it feels like letting go of the shoulds, letting go of being loyal to things that just take and take and take from you and leave you falling flat, or where you have to compromise yourself or take on a role and behave in a way or fall in line with a certain ideal that just really isn't you. And it's just accepting that, you know, maybe that means you kind of have to step out on your own for a while and, you know, live by your truth. And maybe not everybody will get it. And maybe you'll get some judgment, you know. But as they see you really come into your essence, and as they see you harmonizing, not only within yourself, but with your life, and the end result of that, you might be surprised. Some people might get a different view of you. They might come to really understand who you are. And it's also kind of giving people the opportunity to see that too, to let them see who you truly are, to get to know you as you truly are, to be able to bring about transformation in situations too. You know, I can see that as well, that this is something that's being sorted through. There can be cases where people put on a certain role or identity because they felt like, well, this is what, you know, will allow me entry into certain circles, or, you know, this is what gets me advantages in this life. This is what takes me further, you know, and maybe this doesn't feel quite right, but, you know, at the same time, I do get something out of this arrangement. This is where you're starting to recalibrate here. You're thinking about those things, and there's certain things you don't want to compromise anymore. And this is going to really just awaken the full energy in you where you're finally ready to take a leap. Take a leap of faith and trust in what's lighting you up, what's got your heart fire burning, what's calling you forward. Even if other people think you're foolish, you know what you're doing. You're master of the hunt. Okay? So I do see you preparing to take an action, a very focused action, something that feels very aligned for you, that comes through the illumination of the Cazimi and the recalibration of your heart fire that's coming through with Venus and Aries, that's going to have you actually taking a first step toward bringing your dream into reality with the new moon in Pisces that will be coming in. You'll finally know what's worth standing up for, what you want to defend, that thing that is worth your investment, and the thing that has been, put on the back shelf or, left collecting dust for far too long. And it's the thing that reinvigorates you. Cut up the deck here, see what we got. You see? Got Papa Macho here, taking the bull by the horns. You're going to finally feel like, yeah, I've been through some stuff. I got banged up a bit. I went through some difficult karmic cycles, man. I had to go through that stuff, though, so I would really learn how to value myself, appreciate myself, respect myself, and also so I understood what was worth my time, my energy, my investment. I saw ways that, I got myself hung up there. I saw ways that, I acted too impulsively. And that kind of, shot me in the foot. And I see ways that I kind of abandoned certain truths behind me. And I need to go back and reclaim that. I need to reclaim that and bring it into form now. And there's like this sense of getting stronger in this cycle during the retrograde cycle. You're kind of hedge riding right now, You've got a foot in both worlds. One's in the past and one is in the future that is yet to be. And you are the determining factor. But I'll tell you, by the time you arrive at that new moon in Pisces, you will absolutely be aligned with the path that will light your heart on fire with the true recognition of, this is my path. This is a yes. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. And I don't have any question about it. Why? Because energetically, it's complete resonance. I'm no longer in this place of ping-ponging back and forth in my head about what's the right choice. I'm no longer asking other people for their opinion. There is a sense of inner determination here that I'm ready to activate. And you are going to act on that truth. And it's going to be the answer to everything you've been searching for. So this is really good, determined energy coming through. And I feel like this is the only thing that can hold you up. Is if you ask other people to show you the way. If you ask other people to be the guide. This is what you're learning right now. You're learning how to totally find the way through by honing in to your inner radar. You see, you could look at it this way. With the guru here, there's probably a lot of people that would like to tell you they know how to live your life better than you, and they know what's right for you more than you do. But no one knows your heart like you. And sometimes when you want to get calibrated with your path of purpose, the most important thing you can do is turn all your attention within. When you turn your attention within, that's when you're no longer distracted by anything outside of yourself. And every time you turn your attention within, you have a completely clean slate there. It's like a blank screen. And you can project anything onto that blank screen. You can daydream a new reality into being on the blank screen of your mind. But when you're visualizing and when you're coming from that place of leaning into what you want to cast on that blank screen, that's something that emerges more from your intuitive nature. It bubbles up from the waters and it merges with the fire that wants to build in your heart. And that's the alchemical moment of transformation. So once you see with your inner sight what is truly calling to be brought into outward expression by you, by getting acutely aware of what you're feeling inside, what you're desiring, what you long for, you know, that secret stuff that you don't tell anybody, that nobody ever sees. What happens behind the scenes, what happens behind the screen of your eyelids when you're closing your eyes and you're dreaming up in your J dreams and your flights of fancy in your sleep, those places you would like to travel and go, those things you would like to see, the things you would like to experience, and the things that were never fulfilled. That's where you get your recalibration point that gives you the guidance that you need to take your next step. It's all about turning your attention inward and not having that power of self-determined agency taken out of your hands by handing it over to another, asking them what you should do, what's true for you. You need to give a finger to that. That's the point of transformation. That's when you move out of state of limitation. That's when you find the way through and the road will open up for you. And it may stir things up and it may make things feel a little unpredictable for a while. But you'll find that it's when you materialize a whole new path forward for you that changes your reality in a way that has you putting the regrets behind you. Okay? So there's some kind of elevation coming through here. There's wisdom that's carrying you forward on your path. You got a new perspective. You got a whole new view. And this is opening up the road in a big, beautiful way. And I want to get some gilded tarot in here just to see what needs to be transformed. Bottom of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune set in motion. Something that has been fixed is about to finally dissolve into a state of mutability. A new journey is about to begin. You want to get this journey off on a strong foot. There's something that is very pivotal coming in here that is going to play a big part in how your future unfolds for quite some time to come. Coming in with Sagittarian energy, also fixed sign energy, Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. Okay, so there's something that is going to be clarified for you. This could be something that's always been a mystery to you. It's been a bit of a riddle. You haven't known quite what to expect, and yet it's about to become very clear because there's certain illumination coming with the Mercury Cazimi that's going to provide a breakthrough moment. It's going to put you back in your own true soul's essence, and that's going to be a different recalibration point. I would not worry so much about the other at this time and instead really direct the energy on yourself, no matter what situation you may be grappling with that involves other people. It's by recalibrating within yourself that you're really going to connect with your own unique flow that will tell you exactly what you need to do and where you need to go, when, how, and with whom. And you may, head out on your own at first. It may be more about you at this time. And I think that's an excellent focus for Mercury retrograde. Usually Mercury retrograde is never an ideal time to, start a new relationship or sign a contract or, get anything set in stone. It's better to wait until you're on the other side of that. Well, we know we're not on the other side of that out of post shadow until April 19th. So we got a little time to work with here. But what I do feel is coming through is a new sense of self-determination, a new clarity about where destiny lies that's really highlighted here. That does have you starting to lay the foundation for that individually. Will it align you with others? Ultimately, yes. I mean, anytime we open up a new journey, we have certain star mates that are guided to our path. There's new characters that come in on the scene and new adventures to be had, new lessons to learn, and that is the process of growth. We learn experientially, and sometimes we need to learn through the introduction of new characters or the reintroduction of characters who've gone through some kind of transformation. So all of these energies are on offer. So let's see what's coming up to be alchemized for the collective here. I mean, I see some real arrival point here. This is successfully navigating a challenge, rising above it. There's something to celebrate here. And it's recognized. The transformation is recognized. And this is actually achieving all that you desire. It's just being able to have enough focus and alignment to wait for the right moment to act. The moment to act when you know this is it. This is it. If you allow your fire to build in that time and to really work with the energy of Venus and that Mercury cazimi, if you let the illumination come in and you're willing to look at it, even if it makes you a little bit nervous about heading in a certain direction, and once the illumination comes, you take a self-determined action based on that. When you're aware, this is it, it's going to lead to something to celebrate here. It's going to lead to you aiming that arrow and hitting the mark. And it doesn't matter if it seems lofty or impossible to you at this point. You can bring a dream into reality. So this energy looks really good as the basis of the matter. But with that Six of Wands energy, it's also like, what is worth rising to the challenge for here? Because there is something here that you're really going to represent. It's your truth, you're standing on business, and you're willing to do what it takes to feed the fire needed to bring this into fruition. That means you're going to have determination and drive and focus, and you're not just going to think about it. You're actually taking action. I don't see the action really coming in on a more outward expression until the new moon in Pisces, but I do feel like you're personally, as far as your own sphere of influence, the lightning came in again, you're doing something to bring about transformation in the way you're approaching situations. You may be cutting certain things off during Mercury retrograde, things that you know are just outdated or no longer serve a purpose or are obstacles. This can even be certain things that you're no longer giving your time and attention to, as far as stuff that's been taking up too much bandwidth in your consciousness. You know, you might be moving more into taking actions, like putting things in motion foundationally for yourself, than you are really pondering things, considering things anymore. There's something about a need to get more active with this energy. But in cases where others' fortunes become intertwined, I feel like there's a little bit of delay. A little bit of delay before getting that underway. This flew up in the middle of the deck. Yeah, something's not ready to work on with others yet. I see that. See, it's kind of like it's held up right now. This is a little further down the road, but in about 8 weeks, things are really going to start cooking here. I feel like after that Mercury cazimi hits, there is something that lights your fire. So this is imminent. This is coming in tomorrow. Over the next 8 days, there's going to be something here that really lights your fire. It lets you know this is where the work is to be done. This is where I need to invest my energy. For some of you, it may be inspiration around your work. Whatever you set in motion here, whatever you start working on your own, it feels like something you're focused on. It may require you to get a handle on your schedule. It may require you to reprioritize how you spend your time, where you invest your energy. It may require you to pull out of certain things, you know, and reinvest your energy in another direction. But this is you. This is all you. I feel like within 8 weeks, what you set in motion here, it gets rooted. It's rooted in material reality. And there's something that's evident. There's something that's seen here. It's like a first checkpoint. It's a moment of success. It's something to celebrate. It's a moment of victory. This may be when other people start to get involved, okay? Whatever this is. Or when other people start to come on your path, okay? Communication starts to open up. Things start moving outwardly, you know, but you're kind of setting this in motion in your own little sphere, your own reality, your own bubble until about 8 weeks from now. And that does line up when Mercury's out of post shadow, I have to say, right around that time. Something really shifts, something's evident. Like the work you do during this time period of retrograde, the results are evident. Something really pays off from whatever clarity comes in with this Mercury Cazimi. See any other details here? Something's going to work out better than you think. Right? There's some turning of the wheel of fortune here. It gets you out of a fixed position or where you feel like something's just been in a state of gridlock for too long. Anything else? I'm going to go one more round of this, and then I'll do a cut of the deck. I mean, that's what it really looks like, because it doesn't want to give any more details about that. So let me go ahead and do a cut of the deck here, see what we got. We got one that kind of landed in between, so that's interesting. That normally doesn't happen. So we'll go ahead and we'll check it all out here, see what we got. So we do have a yes. There's going to be something that comes in here that gives you the keys you need to open up a new door of opportunity. Now, there could be somebody else on the other side of the scale here that you're ultimately going to balance things out with. Somebody that, you know, when you do get to the other side of this passage, there's some gift you receive. Okay, so a relationship may factor strongly into this. We got Taurus energy coming in here, okay? But there is like some sign here of not being held back any longer. Understanding the gift of this time too, where things are held up a little bit, because it gives you a chance to get recalibrated in such a way that you get this next chapter off on a very strong foot. There's freedom here, and there may be freedom for two, okay, that find the way through. Because of some truth that's acted upon, it brings the answers that are needed. So I do see you'll be very aware of where the path is by the time you get out of this retrograde cycle. You have the answers you need. You know what is a yes. You know your path of purpose. And you have the keys you need to open up that door of opportunity. And it may be with another, okay? It may be with another. So this does feel like this is really coming into alignment with your own inner authority, with your own soul, what's right for you. And I feel like there's somebody else here that is also going through this process with you. Oh, beautiful, look. And it leads to the Fool. It leads to the Fool. So this is you actually taking the risk, and a new chapter begins. There's a lot of optimism here. The road opens. Really beautiful energy. So this is a yes. The road will open, and you'll know who you're meant to join forces with on that road. And it's absolutely a path that is in total alignment with you. It's like, it's a yes. Some of you, it's related to your work. It's related to your work. But stay out of the strategizing, okay? Because it's not about strategizing. It may require you to be a little daring. I'm getting blockage coming in here. What's that blockage around? Highlight that for me for a minute. I don't know why there's blockage around you going down a particular road. It's weird. It's like there's a Page of Swords energy here. You're going to be doing something, I feel, that's a little bit daring for you, right? That's daring comes in at differing degrees depending on who you are, okay? But I feel like whatever you're doing is a little daring here. And there's somebody's watching you take this action. And it's weird. There's like big blockage around this coming through right now. So I kind of want to tap into this energy for a minute. Where's the blockage coming from? Where's the blockage coming from around this? Because I see it is your path of purpose. But you know, the Fool does have that little dog nipping at the heels, trying caution. So this is somebody that there's some kind of strategy they have in their cautioning. It's a past influence coming in Leo energy. Something related to the past that could hold you back. It's a South Node matter, Virgo energy. Do be aware of that. I think there could be a situation here where somebody's going to try to convince you to stay in a comfort zone. And you're going to need to have the strength to, you know, challenge that. I think that a particular comfort zone isn't really comfortable for you. I mean, that's kind of how it's coming through. It's not really comfortable for you, obviously. You know, there is something here you're supposed to rise above. But this feels like something that's going to come up to challenge you as you prepare to open up this new road. It could be somebody from your past. It could be a past situation coming back around the bend, and something that could kind of get you caught up and convince you to be comfortable with something that you're actually very uncomfortable with because it's not harmonized with you. Yeah, you're going to have to really act on your wisdom when that comes in because it's a blocking influence. Felt that very strongly, all right? We're going to go into the individual reads too. I'm going to pull out the Herbal Astrology Oracle and just do separate piles here for the cardinal signs to get a message for you on how to work with this energy. This is for any placements in the cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, or if you have a strong first house placement, fourth house placement, seventh house placement, 10th house placement, or if you are a descendant of any of those signs, which would mean you have a cardinal rising sign. So Aries rising, Cancer rising, Libra rising, Capricorn rising. And in terms of the descendant sign, it really shows you a lot about your relationships with others. So we're just going to do a real simple read for each of you. We're going to cut the deck, read the bottom card and the top card. Bottom card will represent how you're entering this phase with Venus in Aries as you're moving through this retro cycle. And the top will indicate sort of where you land, where you'll land on the other side of the retrograde energy. Okay. So, first cut we're going to make here is going to be for Capricorn. And the next cut we're going to make here is going to be for Libra. And then we're going to cut the deck here for Cancer, and the first pile will be for Aries. Okay, so Aries coming in at 114.38. I like this, Aries. This is you absolutely being in a position where you are able to revitalize, reimagine, reinvigorate your life. You are the magician. You do have that power in your hands. There's all aces on deck. So there is something that you're activating here. You are balancing things out. You're very much in your alchemical powers right now. So there is something heavy you're transmuting. Whatever you're doing here, it's striking a balance. It's bringing you into a place of alignment, and it's giving justice in your life. So I like this very much. Bottom of the deck energy. You see, there's a turning of the wheel that's happening here for you. You are closing the door on one cycle in your life. And this is closing the cycle on some heavy duty territory. It's coming in with both Mars and Pluto. So this is really closing out time in the house of Scorpio. You could have been dealing with a Scorpio, and there's something you're really ready to let go of there. This is also just signaling that you've been through huge transformation in your life. There's been a lot of endings. There's a lot of things that are about to begin. There's a lot you've been integrating here, lessons you've learned. You've been dealing with a lot of subconscious stuff coming to the surface. You've been dealing with a lot of tricky elements. In some cases, you've dealt with tricky people. You have dealt with a particular devil. And through it all, you were able to retrieve something here, something that is to be treasured, something that you do value. There is clarity coming in here for you. And there's gifts you're carrying forward with you as you head through this portal of transformation that's going to come in with the new moon in Pisces. That is when one cycle closes and a new one begins, comes in with the Wheel of Fortune energy. You're very much in your power. There's a choice you're making here. There's a choice that's very clear to you. You're not staying in the crossroads, and this is when the new cycle begins. So let's see what is going to begin for you. Look at that. The change that's coming in for you is rebirth. And you absolutely are stepping into the new adventure. You're opening a new chapter. You're taking the leap of the fool. It's a firm yes for you. You have no doubts about it. And very interesting. It's coming in with the energy of Pluto. So Pluto, Jupiter, and Neptune. Okay, I like it. So this is when you get to see what's on the other side of what you had to release. It's like you're getting the reward. You're getting the blessings. I think there's some indication of a dream, something you've longed for a real long time is starting to break into your reality around that time of the new moon, and it's setting a new cycle in motion. But you absolutely feel really inspired here. There's something you did transform. You have a whole new view of what's possible for you, and it's bringing a lot of blessings your way. A lot of blessings your way. Some of you may be doing like some kind of journeying work, some kind of healing work here, working on a really deep level, doing some last stages of psychic integration, releasing a lot of heaviness from the past. Also just kind of letting go of the energies you've been moving through over the past few years, where we really dealt with a lot of that energy of Pluto and Capricorn, you know. You're finally on the other side of what was that mean and heavy territory, and there's something coming into view here that makes you feel like you got a new lease on life. So this is rebirth energy. You may have thought that, you know, there never would be like the reinvigoration of your life path, or you've been kind of like in the waiting room for a long time, just wondering when your new vision would emerge, when the new path would open up to you. And it will absolutely arrive on the scene. So there's some process you're going through right now You're closing something out. You're letting something go. You're releasing some really like tricky aspects of yourself too. Just subconscious tripping points. Things that would like get you caught up in territory that you don't need to revisit anymore because you've transcended the lesson here and you got empowerments that came through it. You have clarity now. And the new cycle that's coming in for you, it is an initiation for you. So everything's going to be brand new. This is a very important juncture you're at here. But the rebirth that comes in for you, it brings good luck. Bats bring good luck, okay? So we got this amplified too with Jupiter on the scene. And as far as characters who could be connected to your situation, we got strong Scorpio energy, Aries energy. You may be dealing with another Aries, it's possible. Pisces, Sagittarius, okay? You could be dealing with any of these characters. One door closes, another opens, okay? So there's something interesting brewing for you here. And let me go ahead and do a cut of the deck. Just cap this off. I mean, we couldn't get any more clear here. You've absolutely overcome challenges from the past. There could be a Leo connected to your situation. We got Venus hanging out here too. So Libra energy, Taurus energy. There's something that you've really resolved here. You've had the strength to overcome challenges from the past. It could even be something that's sort of been holding you back in relation to your upbringing, or it could be even something that you consider like a generational link, like things that have just sort of been in place within your bloodline, within your family, things that you saw in your home environment growing up, especially in relation to love relationships, how that's expressed. And there's something here where you've really done a lot of healing work. You've done a lot of deeply integrative work, and you're finally ready to open up your heart here. There's softening energy coming in with rose quartz. So you might want to bring in rose quartz to assist you with sort of softening, opening up your heart to the new beginnings that are in store. But you're absolutely in the waterway here, and there's something new coming into form here. So this is a brand new beginning for you, very much aligned with your heart, and it's rooted in wisdom from the experiences you've been through in the past. So I like this, really good. And on the other side here, we have, initiation, coming in with the energy of 11. Wow, coming in with the Venusian energy again. So you are being initiated into love, okay? Looks like your heart's cracking open, and there's something coming in here that's going to pour into you, pour into your heart in the most unexpected way. Like this comes as a surprise. You're really ready to open up to love, open your heart to a new experience here. And it's bringing complete renewal in your life. So you're not anticipating this. Again, coming in with the energies of Libra, Taurus, and we also got Aquarius hanging out there, okay? So powerful. Looks like you're getting to the heart of the matter and you're finding a way through, and now you're through the thorns and you're getting to some sweetness there. So that looks quite beautiful for you, Aries. Okay, coming in at 123.34 for Cancer. So Cancer, you're going to bring about some kind of major change in your life. Something that's been held in place for too long. You're ready to go beyond it. I do feel like this may actually involve going somewhere. It might involve a trip. It might involve a move. In some way you felt held back for a while. There might have been some red tape you needed to push through. There might have been some kind of authority figure that was holding things up, or you were waiting for the approval of something that would give you the resources or what you needed to move forward here. And I feel like that's coming in. So your action involves some kind of major change, but there's some kind of sense of transport, like going from one place to another. And it really signals a big change in your life that's coming in here. Bottom of the deck, higher consciousness. You're just waiting for the news to come in. I feel that, okay? So I don't think that this is really going to be underway for you completely. I think you're going to start to get a sense of it, you know, like the vision's coming in, the awareness is coming in, and you might find you really start to come into alignment with your own essence and your coordinates for where you're going and what's right for you when you are tapping into your higher consciousness, maybe through meditation or some kind of meditative practice. I mean, meditation doesn't just have to be sitting in lotus position, oming it out. It may be more meditative for you to engage in your art, or maybe you really enter a meditative space in that higher consciousness zone when you're out in nature or something. But I do feel like you're tapping in here. And I feel like with the new moon that comes in Pisces, there's some kind of direct communication coming in that makes you feel like, okay, this is it. It feels like your star. You feel like you have the strength to rise to this challenge. You also feel like you're in a more powerful position and you have what you need. You have the resources you need to make this possible. So there is something you set in motion there, and it marks like a definitive point where you're no longer kind of held up in a past cycle that was really, it's coming through as it was like stunting your growth. Like it wasn't stimulating to you. It wasn't inspiring you. You needed something more, something that felt more in alignment with who you've become through all the changes you've been navigating here. There's a lot of, I feel like there's been a lot of inner growth within you. There's been a lot of spiritual growth. There's been a lot of insights you've gained. You've done a lot of deep personal healing work here, and it's elevated you in a conscious way. But there's been something here that has been held back in terms of your ability to move forward in your day-to-day life. Like this is something practical. And it does have the feeling of movement, like wanting to go somewhere, wanting to travel somewhere, or wanting to make a move, or maybe change jobs or something like that. It does involve like moving from one thing to another, and you have not been able to come into the proper alignment yet, but this is coming in. You're going to know exactly what you're supposed to do here, but I do feel like the insight comes in the more that you allow yourself to enter that meditative space where you can trust your own inner voice, your own inner directive here. And that's what really gets you dialed in. I do feel like something is almost complete. Like an integration process, a healing process is nearly complete for you. And your star is about to come into view. And I think it's something that you're seeing before it arrives on the scene. Like you might have had something sort of highlighted for you with this eclipse we just moved through that made you aware of what this is. Like there's some kind of insight you had. Either something came through for you in a meditation or a dream or a moment when you were just really in the flow, in the zone, and it just trickled into your consciousness and you're like, okay, it's time. Like it let you know it's time. I know this is coming soon. There's going to be more unfoldment there, wherever that is. It's also almost like something's being retrieved from your memory, something that wasn't meant to resurface until this cycle, because there's like some kind of key integrative healing process you needed to go through before you would actually be able to act on the inspiration of this memory. That's what it feels like. You could be dealing with a Virgo. You could be dealing with a Gemini. Your energy coming through very strongly here as well. And on the other side of this, ooh, well, you are in sort of an incubation phase right now. That's what I see. You're harmonizing right now. You're balancing your active, your receptive qualities. You're working with your creative energy, and you're also considering how best to express this creative energy that's sort of building up in you. And when I say creative energy, yeah, it could be something you're wanting to create, but it's also just your desire to bring some kind of new focus to your life, new direction to your life. And I think this is what you're in this stage of right now. You're kind of like in your own little, it's sort of got the vibes of like you're in your little laboratory and you're kind of balancing things out, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't know, maybe you're even like creating something that requires you sort of blending different ingredients, different elements. But I also feel this is like a psychological process. Like there's something that's brewing here that you're currently working on right now. It's cloaked. It's like kind of behind the scenes. It's a little bit of your own like secret sauce. You know, you're kind of brewing up here, your own secret formula. And it's something that is very much in alignment with your purpose. I think it's something that you were inspired to act on, and this is going to continue to brew. And it's very much happening on an inner level right now. Like you're coming into energetic alignment with your purpose right now. And it's starting out as something you're working on very privately on your own. I don't know why I got this impression, but it's like you're like in your little lab or in your workshop or in your own little zone. Wow, there's more lightning at that point. Yeah, there's something that's getting lit up for you here, and you're working on it. And it's balancing these different elements, and you're coming into this beautiful place of sun-moon synergy where whatever you're working on privately here, that's a bit of kind of brewing a dream, you know, and bringing all the right elements into proper alignment here. You're getting prepared to actually share this externally. So I feel like there's something, it's almost got the feeling of something you're presenting here or something you're working on very privately that eventually you're going to share it with others. It's almost like this big reveal, like this is what I've been working on behind the scenes, okay? And it's absolutely aligned with your purpose. It's something that came in as an inspiration, or it will come in. If you don't feel like you got this yet, this is what's coming in. Something that it's going to arrive when you're just sort of in the zone, like meditating, or maybe whatever this is that you're working on. That could be a clue. There may be something you're working on right now that like you view it as a hobby or something you just really enjoy. You enjoy spending, you know, your free time engaged in this. It puts you in the zone. That may be directly in connection with your purpose. Whatever this is, it moves you into greater expansion. It really fuels a newfound sense of enthusiasm in your life. I think you're going to go real far with this. This may even be something that's inspiring you on a spiritual level. Maybe you're infusing spiritual concepts in whatever you're working on here, like things that come through your sense of awareness. It's like an awareness that comes through when you're in a meditative space. So all I know is this feels like whatever you're working on here, it's very harmonized with your purpose. It's something that puts you in the zone. And I think it's really going to capture your attention here, and it's your own special magic brewing here, and it puts you in alignment with your North Node. So do have a look at where your North Node is, because that's a clue about what's brewing here for you. You're bringing it into alignment, into form right now, and it's something that puts you in direct connection with your path of purpose here. It's going to bring you on up to the North Node. So you're closing an old cycle, And you're really embracing a new path here that's very much in alignment with, it feels like your soul. Like this is your spiritual purpose. There may even be some kind of metaphysical focus or spiritual focus or something that brings in a little bit of what you've learned on your journey, a little bit of your wisdom from what you've learned on your journey forward into whatever this is. It feels like something you're working on. It could be a project. It could be some kind of work you're going to be doing, but it's something that's shared with others here. It's really powerful. Again, your energy really strong, but pay attention to where you got your north node. What sign is there? And any transits going on in relation to that sign, because I do feel like it can give you a further clue, but this is a new journey that's getting rooted here, and it's going to be strong. Like whatever this is you're going to be presenting here, that you're going to be sharing with others, this is going to be with you for quite some time to come. All right, let's do a cut of the deck, and what we got? Ooh, I like it. We got love. So you're ending the old cycle. There's old relationships that you've done a lot of cleansing, healing, integration around. And I feel like there's something that really came to a culmination point with that, with the full moon that came in. You finally released the thorns. You've done a lot of healing work around old relationships, especially relationships where there was a lot of conflict or things felt really like polarized. Like it was really hard to find a way to integrate what happened back there. But I do feel like you found the way through, and you released something here. Something in relation to your love story came to a close with that full moon, and this is what's allowing something new to come into bloom for you. It's going to bring a lot of peace, a lot of healing into your life, and something's coming in here to pierce your heart and inspire you. And it's coming in with your energy. And I do feel like, again, there's something that is evident here that arrives with the new moon in Pisces, and it is a gift of Venus here. So I don't know. You released something that was preventing this love and beauty from merging into your life. I mean, I can't help but notice this was right behind the love. We have joy here coming in with the energy of temperance, hummingbird medicine. So some love and joy is going to get rooted in your life here. I do feel like there's something that you're working on here that's going to be very fulfilling for you, but it looks like there's something new coming into bloom here for you on the other side of this. Absolutely. A breakthrough moment. Breakthrough moment. It's going to be something that takes you by surprise. This is when a little bit of magic finds its way through, breaks through mundane reality, and brings you into complete alignment with the new path. And you're breaking through the limitations of what held you in the old cycle, and it's bringing about some growth and fruition in your life. With that raven there, that's Libra energy. So I think there's, it's interesting because I feel like you've been doing a lot of balancing personally. There's something you've been balancing out within yourself, and you've been releasing a lot in relation to your old love story. But I feel like this is bringing through a new relationship for you. Like there's some fruit of what you're working on here. To me, it's sort of interesting. I feel like you've been doing a lot of healing work, and there's some kind of project, or there's something you've been working on here that you're going to present to others, share with others. And meanwhile, along the way, very quietly, Cupid's brewing up a little something for you here, a bit of romantic magic to weave into your world, something that it's almost like just as you start really focusing on yourself and fulfilling yourself and pouring your energy into what you want to grow for yourself, and you're no longer processing the old relationship stuff, love comes in and takes you by surprise. It's like a breakthrough moment. And you finally find like the sweetness on the other side of what came to a close in your love story. So, characters that you could be dealing with here: Aquarius, Aries, Scorpio, Libra, Taurus, Virgo, Gemini, Cancer. Your energy coming in real strong. So, looks like you're not only going to find your path of purpose, but there's somebody who feels like they're supposed to join you on that road. That's quite a beautiful message coming through for you. It's going to happen in a very unexpected way, though. So this is not something you can be on the lookout for, which is kind of why I think life has you lit up and really immersed in something you're working on here, because it's perfect. It creates the right space for you to really get in your own essence and totally let go of all the distractionary energy. And then right when you're caught up in this new beginning that you're forging in your life, that it looks like it's in relation to something you've been working on, some kind of project, some kind of work you're doing here, something you want to share with others, and all of a sudden, you know, here comes love in the most unexpected way. And it's a breakthrough moment, something you were not expecting. But it does bring in the Empress energy here. So something really grows, comes to fruition. Beautiful energy there. Woo. All right, Cancer. Okay, Libra coming in at 141.17. All right, Libra, you got a new beginning coming in here for you. You're going to take some kind of action to affect a change, because something's going to finally feel like a firm yes to you. And with that action, there's something here that does bring about quite a transformation in your reality. Oh, wow. It's only your destiny. It's only your destiny coming calling, Libra. Wow. You got Jupiter energy coming in here with Pluto. So maybe you've been wondering why you went through so much heavy territory, why you went through so much rough stuff. You've had to have a lot of resilience with what you've been navigating. I think you've gone through many a storm, and something is finally being cleansed here. A real heavy time in your life is being cleansed away. And where you have been running on empty, I do feel like something is starting to pour into you here. You feel like the nourishment is coming in. And you may have been going on your own for a while here. It may have been really dark territory, unknown territory. You've been kind of guided by the light of the moon. You've just been guided by your own sense of spiritual direction. It feels like there's been more sort of like something tugging at your soul that's been guiding you to keep heading in a particular direction, but without really knowing where you were going to end up. I do feel like you've kind of felt often on your own, you know, even if you do have others around you. I think you've largely been spending more time solitary, more time to yourself, but you are coming into the Empress energy here. So there's a lot of new beginnings that are about to come on through for you. It's also coming in with the energy of the Fool. Gemini energy coming in as well. Aries energy, Aquarian energy. There's something here that is brand new. Something's been transformed. You've been transformed. This is a creative cycle. There's a lot that's about to get rooted in your life here that has growth, that has longevity, that is going to have resilience. And there's also others who are going to join you. They're part of this change. You're not meant to continue to wander alone through the valley of the shadow. I do feel like you're just about to break ground. There's something that's been germinating here for quite some time. And you may not realize it, but there's others that have been on kind of like a parallel path, but they're just sort of caught up in a particular phase of their transformational process. You're meant to sort of arrive first on the scene here, and then you externalize what's been germinating here, and it acts like a beacon. It acts like a light that guides others to come into alignment. But this is sun moon synergy, so it's like as within, so without. Something that's been just in the dream space, something that has just been an internal calling, something that's just felt like a soul directive that you felt kind of on your own in is finally getting ready to come into view. This may even be a dream or a vision that you've had, and you've had it for a long time, but you're like, well, where is it? It never came into view. Something's about to happen here. This is a date with destiny. It's a date with destiny. Beautiful energy. And you're going to finally see the blessing on the other side of that heavy territory that you move through. It could be a Sagittarius connected. There could be a Pisces connected. There could be a Scorpio connected to this situation. Okay, let's see what's on the other side here. Ooh, beautiful. Wow, very interesting. We got community coming in here. And there is Butterfly Clan right there. So you're going through transformation. You're part of Butterfly Clan on the medicine wheel. And just as I said that, the lightning came on through to light up the sky here. So yeah, there's something brewing here. You're coming into alignment with your people. Like the people who are meant to, you know, forge this next stretch of road with you. Absolutely. There's something that's going to come in there with the new moon in Pisces. It's coming in with Pisces energy that also breaks down to 3 energy of the Empress. So I feel like an old karmic cycle came to a close. And it looks like you closed that successfully. And so there's some transformation coming through that's opening up a brand new creative cycle of new beginnings and connections and fostering a new sense of community, kind of finding your people. Air signs may be coming through very strongly for you. Okay, you may be connecting with other Libras, Geminis, Aquariuses. We also got Scorpio energy here, Cancerian energy. It's like, yeah, you're finding your people, like you're really finding where you belong and who's meant to share that road with you. I think this is some very positive energy. This is something that's currently brewing, but it's absolutely, we see it here too. There's like the moon here and there's the sun here. So see, there's this sun moon synergy here. You may be connecting with people too, where your sun sign is their moon sign or vice versa, you know. You're real mirrors for each other. You externalize what the other holds inwardly and you help pull those strengths out of each other. You may be coming together in creative community too. There might be something you're creating together. Whatever this is, these star mates, these people you're meant to align with, they're going to start filtering into your reality and joining you on your path with the new moon in Pisces. Also with the Pluto energy coming through there, some of these people may be revised connections. I say revised instead of renewed. It's like maybe the connection's being seen in a different way, or the connection plays a different role in your life, or there's something that's being reinvigorated here. It's going through a revision. You're revisioning this connection. You're seeing it differently perhaps. But you're absolutely emerging from the chrysalis state. You're getting your wings. Some transformation is complete. This looks really beautiful. Okay, you overcame some past karmic cycle and it's put you in a position of power and it's rooting something new. And with the right group of people too. So this is good. I like this. Okay, cut of the deck for Libra. Interesting. Right now, it's just about allowing yourself to rest, retreat, hibernate, meditate, dream a little dream, okay? Everything's already taken care of for you here. Again, we have Jupiter energy coming in with the sun. It's like something has already been seeded. Something's already been rooted. You're already well on your way. I think this is something you've already been developing, you've already been working on. And right now, it's just rest. Rest, knowing that these threads of fate are already weaving into the stuff of your destiny, and it's just waiting to break ground and come into your field of awareness. We do got the energy of Virgo coming in here, the grizzly guardian of the West on the medicine wheel. So something here, it could be related to your work as well. I think there's something about really getting yourself anchored in a daily routine that gives you like a touchstone, like a point of balancing, a point of reflection, a point of rest. So there may be something that you are working on. You're putting a lot of energy on this particular track. That's how it's coming through. You're putting a lot of energy on this particular track. That's interesting how that's coming through. For some of you, this could be coming through musically. You're working on a track. You're pouring a lot of energy on this track. If you've had an inspiration around something like that and you've kind of been letting it sit, maybe create a little space to bring that to fruition. That may be something you're meant to share for who that speaks to, but it could just be a particular track that you've been very focused on. I think you're focused on your path. You're putting a lot of energy there. But do create space where you can kind of integrate too. There's something about the way you've moved forward on a particular track as well that could use a little like recalibration in terms of how to move it forward. Something that you access when you tap into your intuition. So I think there's something here about needing to continue to create space for a little of that kind of dream time energy where you just meditate on something and you allow yourself to refill your cup and you give yourself space for rest and integration. Because there's some kind of banner moment brewing here. I mean, there's something that's going to be evident. There's something that really puts you in your own soul's essence here with the sun, but it's also something externalized, okay? There's something you're taking action on. And with the Jupiter energy, it leads to some kind of blessing. It leads to some kind of expansion. So it's going to be really important that you take time to rest, because with this sort of 9 energy coming in, it makes me think of the South Node, right? There's only going to be so much time to integrate the whole cycle here before you're really stepping into your destiny in this forward progression. So I think during this retrograde cycle, it is really time to allow yourself that space to integrate, because something's preparing to move into greater growth, more expansion. It's a very positive cycle, but it's also a very outwardly expressed cycle, not so much internalized. Like, it feels like you've been more in this space of inwardly focused, retreating, resting, integrating, closing out things. And you should milk that while you can during this retrograde cycle, because soon there's not going to be as much time for that. It also might be a good time to get like a very simplified practice for like a touchstone practice to allow you to enter that space of rest, integration, readiness, so that when this moment comes for externalizing, you're prepared to really step into it and you can keep a good balance, because there's going to be a lot of demands, I think, in this next cycle that's coming through for you. And on the other side here, we have Peaceful Warrior. And that's coming in with the energy of Mars and the new moon. So yeah, there is something here that you are still processing, integrating, purifying here. But you've absolutely gained medicines from whatever territory you've been moving through. You've been empowered by it. You've been strengthened by it. And there's something very difficult that you overcame here, something that you integrated, not through force, but in a very peaceful way, through this process you've been through of just integrating the experience internally. I think there's a lot that has been cleansed away here that's allowing you to enter into a brand new cycle, but you're still in these like last phases of integrating the lessons of the karmic cycle you moved through. But the time to act is coming through soon with that new moon. Something's going to be an absolute yes, and it has you acting out the Mars energy. So you're opening a new cycle, you're taking an action, you're taking an initiative, it moves you into greater expansion. There's more visibility here, like the energy's outwardly expressed, but I feel like during this cycle of the retrograde, this is where you're at. You're integrating your lessons from what you've been moving through. You're doing some purification work. You're resting deeply. You're meditating. You're coming into your peaceful center here. And you're waiting for that yes when you take all of these empowerments that you've gained through this cycle and you're ready to externalize them into what will be your destiny. And with this energy, we have Scorpio, Aries, and Cancer coming through too. Leo, Sagittarius here. There's a lot of Sagittarius, Pisces energy. Quite a bit of Scorpio energy coming through here too. Just to let you know what characters you may be dealing with. And Cancer. Cancer coming through pretty strongly too. I think you're really going to find where you belong and who you belong with. That's kind of how it's coming through, and it's all coming together, but you're not really supposed to be too concerned about that right now. Just stay in the zone of what you've already seeded here, because it's coming to fruition just fine, just fine. And you'll know when it's time to act. It looks like something comes through with the new moon in Pisces that's like, it's go time, you know? And there's other people showing up on the scene. So where you've kind of been on your own, I feel like you're not going to be much longer. So milk this time for what it's worth, because soon things are going to be a lot busier. That's what I feel. That's what's coming through for you, Libra. Okay, Capricorn coming in at 156.50. All right, well, there's some balance you've already achieved here. There's some kind of alignment coming in for you. You've taken an action to bring about alignment in your life. You discovered what was really out of balance and you cut that off. And I feel like this is the start of a significant change for you. You may be kind of chomping at the bit, because I do feel like it took a lot of courage to bring something to a close, to take a leap here. It's something you felt like you had to do, you know. It wasn't necessarily something that brought you a lot of joy, though, I feel. It just felt like this has to come to a close. Coming in with the energy of Saturn, so this could even be something in relation to your work that just wasn't working out, or something that was too much work, something was too much of a hassle, or just had you really mired in something that wasn't going to do anymore. You lost your patience for it. You want to weave something more beautiful and hopeful into your life here with Venus coming into view. And I do see that this is manifesting here. It's currently being brought into balance. The magic will return into your life again. There will be forward progression here. You're about to open up a brand new journey. And where you've had that vision of what could be for you, I feel like this is something you've already got in mind, what you would like to see for your future. It's coming into form, okay? But it's going to take a little time for it to balance out. I think right now you just need to gather your strength for the journey ahead. A new journey is about to open, but it's not time for that road to open just yet, okay? There is something that you're still kind of gathering strength for. I feel like you're gathering strength for the road ahead. There is something that you need to wrap up that kind of still ties you to your past. Once you wrap this up and you really clear the decks of that, then you'll be free to move forward here. It's just going to take a little patience, okay? Little patience. And I think you've been doing the work. You know, I feel that. I feel like you've really been doing the work. Spiritually, you've been doing the work. Practically, you've been doing the work. And it's like you've kind of been waiting. Like, okay, like I've been doing the work. I've been showing up. I've been showing up. I've been doing the work. So where is the sweetness? Where's the love? Where's the beauty? Where's my new beginning? This is what you've really been waiting for. But it is coming into balance. It is. Just give it a little time. Bide your time by building your strength right now. Strength for the road ahead. There's something about endurance. Like there's going to be a lot of movement required of you. You may be moving. There may be something that's really shifting, something that's really changing in your life. And you're going to need to have strength for this, to take this next step on your path. But it is the beginning of what roots some kind of love, beauty, harmony into your life that's been missing for a while. And this comes in with the energy of the wounded healer. Yeah, we do have Chiron hanging out there, okay? So there's something that you've been deeply in a healing process with here. And you've really felt this one personally. You've been really doing a lot of deep healing work. And I do feel like you are due some kind of blessing here, absolutely. But you see, this is the transformation point where those dreams that you set free on the winds of change are getting ready to root and come into form and inspire new hope in you. There is something that you're rooting here that really is going to have longevity. And what you're rooting here, this new dream that is really getting prepared to get rooted in your reality, it's something that's going to be resilient. It's built to last. It's going to be here for the long haul. So this is a very significant cycle of expansion that you're entering into that you wouldn't have been prepared for had you not gone through this deeply cathartic healing process here. But there's new creative power that's being put in your hands, and there's this transmutation point where you're going to start to see how the light gets through the wound. It's like what's on the other side of all that deep healing work you've done. You're about to really experience it coming into form. Your energy coming through really strongly. We also got Libra, Taurus here, Aries energy, Sagittarius, Pisces. So any of these characters could be playing a role. We got Leo energy here as well. Leo energy double does make a tower. So I do feel like there was something rooted in the past that was uprooted. It may have come as a very destabilizing moment. And whatever this was, it rocked the foundation of your life. And since then, you've really been coming into your own personal empowerment. There's a lot of deeply healing, integrative work you've been doing that's related totally just to you, to yourself. It's like you really need to come back into your own energy. So there might have been something that entered your life that was really some kind of jolt to your foundation, and it required you to strengthen yourself. You had to reclaim your strength, your empowerments from whatever this experience was. And for some of you, it could have been the ending of a relationship, or you could have faced a major health challenge, or there's something that required you to shift something very foundational. And it may feel a bit like you're uprooted right now and you're having to be patient in relation to a recent action you took where it was a risk. It was a risk. And yet you knew that you'd outgrown a certain role, or something had served its purpose and you had to take a risk to open up your path. You're going to see the transformation come through. It's actually the beginning of your dreams coming to fruition. but your dreams couldn't get rooted in the space you were in there. Something needed to shift foundationally to support this new growth that's about to be evident to you. Ooh, I like that for you. Do expect another awakening moment, but I don't think this is going to be destabilizing tower. To me, it feels more like Dagas. It's that moment of breakthrough where you finally see the dawn of the new day. You finally see it. You've been waiting for it, and it's going to show up in the most unexpected way. And when it shows up, I think you're really going to recognize it as a direct result of this healing process you've been through. You're going to be like, ah, that's the light. That's the light that got through that wound. I get it now. It's going to be like a confirmation moment, you know? Because often when we're going through a really deeply integrative healing process like that, we can wonder, what's this for? Like, do I ever get to the other side of this? This is the other side. This is the other side. But it's like something really foundational needed to be transformed before these dreams could get rooted. But once they're rooted, oh, they're here for the long haul. Like, this has resilience. This endures. It's really beautiful. And you do have a vehicle forward here. You do. So there's this idea of transport from one time, space, place in your life to another. Right now, it's just that it's happening more on an etheric level, on a spiritual level, on an inwardly transformational level. But soon, the outer manifestation will be clear, and you'll know what it was all for. It's like you're getting to that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, you know, the fruits of your labor. Okay, cut of the deck and see what we got here for you, Capricorn. I mean, this is beautiful. I think you're entering a very magical time in your life. I think you've really been connecting with your magic during the time that you've been moving through the shadow and everything you've been integrating here. But everything that's been brewing during this time of kind of traveling through the darkness, the unknown space, is ready to be externalized here with the energy of the sun coming in. There is something magical brewing here, and some of you have really been communing with your magic, communing with the magical realms. This is something that is really about to be externalized. There's a special kind of magic you've been brewing here. As you've been doing your healing work, I feel like there's something that's been very empowering about the experience too. There's certain strengths you've reclaimed. There's certain gifts you've reclaimed. There's certain dreams you've dusted off here. And some of you are on very alchemical paths. You are very connected to your magic. Some of you may specifically feel a deep connection with nature, a deep connection with the Devi realm, a deep connection with fairy, and something that has been brewing within the space of fantasy, dream time, journeying time, time spent in nature, time working your magic, communing with your path is about to be externalized and manifested. So to me, this is really taking that shadowy material and refining it, and it becomes the gold. It's like there's a dream you're able to step into now that you could only step into because you went through that deep healing process. It allowed you to pluck a jewel out of the void. This is beautiful. Coming in again with the energy of Scorpio and Leo. So you have the strength to overcome something that in the past, you know, would have really held you back, but you've awakened something, you've stirred something within yourself that has you reclaiming a bit of the magic you hold. And it's weaving something beautiful into your reality. Absolutely. Look at that. So this is the point where you do receive the blessings of Venus. We got Jupiter and Venus coming in here. We got some temperance energy coming in here. We have grace coming in. And this is bringing about some beautiful sense of justice into your reality. Coming in with 29, so this is very much happening on a level of spiritual attunement. There's something that you're intuiting here and you're aligning with it on an inner level, but it's going to be externalized here, and it's bringing the blessings of Venus into your life, moving you into greater expansion, coming in with the energies of Libra, Taurus, Sagittarius here. It's moving you into greater expansion, and this is the balancing point. So it's so beautiful because it's really just telling you, like, rest. It's already coming into alignment. The time to move forward is coming soon. And you're going to see the transformation. It's just something you're already aligned with. So the work is already done. Just let this magic weave into your world. Have patience. Have patience as it's coming into form, because the work to be done has already been done. And now it's all about to come into view for you. I love that for you. Okay. A lot coming into alignment here. A lot coming to fruition. The breakthrough moment is underway. So wait. Wait until you know it's time. Because when that time arrives, there will be no denying it. And when it does arrive on the scene, well, Godspeed.